COVID relief plan and says there's no room for complacency. I'm Skylar Henry on Capitol Hill as the House approaches a final vote on the bill.
Southeast Kansas firefighters come together for grain rescue training. Former American actress Meghan Markle says she felt trapped and isolated during her stint as a member of the royal family.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The CDC releases guidance on what fully vaccinated people are able to do without wearing a mask. Plus, the House begins debate today on the revised version of the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, the Senate passed President Biden's COVID relief plan over the weekend. And now the bill heads back to the House. Skylar Henry joins us with the latest from Capitol Hill.
The House has begun debate on the Senate's amended coronavirus economic relief package, with a vote expected tomorrow on the nearly $2 trillion bill.
I have every confidence that the House will pass the bill and that the President will sign the bill, and I'm hopeful we can have a nice signing ceremony sometime this week.
The bill includes $1,400 stimulus checks for many Americans. Other elements include a child tax credit of up to $3,600 per child, as well as a $34 billion expansion of Obamacare subsidies, making more people eligible to buy health coverage and lowering premiums for others.
These people in the Congress today, the House and the Senate on the Democratic side, are out of control liberals.
Not a single Republican in either chamber has voted to support the bill. Some House Democrats don't like that the Senate removed a federal minimum wage hike from the bill. However, they also say the legislation as is desperately needed. The White House is staying on the offensive to sell the bill, issuing a memo warning staffers there's, quote, absolutely no room for complacency.
We're going to succeed moving forward. Look, the American people strongly support what we're doing. That's the key here.
President Biden is visiting a VA medical center this afternoon, where veterans are receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. There's an additional $13.5 billion for VA healthcare services included in the bill. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
In addition to funding for VA medical centers, the American Rescue Plan provides up to $750 million for state veterans' home facilities. Wilson County Health Department is offering walk-in vaccinations this afternoon at its clinic in Fredonia. Shots are available from 1:30 to 4:30 p.m. If you can't make today's clinic, call the number you see there on your screen, 620-378-4455, to be put on a COVID-19 vaccine list. In Joplin, Mercy Hospital is offering walk-in vaccinations at its clinic at 100 Mercy Way to those who qualify. That list includes people ages 65 and older or those with health conditions that make them high risk, health care workers, first responders, and other emergency personnel. The walk-in shots are available until 7 p.m. tonight and from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow. Well, if you can handle the wind, it's really quite a pleasant day outside today. Michael Hayslip joins us with a first look at the forecast.
But Tanya, here's the thing. The wind hasn't actually begun in earnest. You walk outside, yeah, you go, that's a nice good breeze. Wait till we get to the afternoon hours, because the red flag warning that we have right now, it just actually started. We talked about it at length this morning, but the important thing to know is that officially from the National Weather Service, it's only in effect from noon to 6. So we're just now underway, and we can expect it to get much blustier as we progress through the afternoon hours. Look at our wind gusts. That's not too bad at all. And when the old clock freezes on us, we know what that means. We know that we're going to probably have to switch to max 2 and come up. Oh, there we go. That's why I got the best production crew known to man right there. Now, as we look at the Skywatch storm tracker for our Monday afternoon, we are clear as a bell. One thing we will be paying attention to, look at the contiguous 48, and what I'm going to do is kind of concentrate on the northwestern portion of the United States. See that moving right there off of Portland? Yeah, a little wraparound with the rain and the cloud cover. That's an indicator that we are going to have a low pressure system that is eventually going to move our way. Now, as we transition back to max 1, we've got temperatures that sit in the mid-60s. What a delightful day. Our average high for this time of year would be about 57 degrees, and we've already eclipsed that. So we're able to break out the fresh air forecast, and with that red flag warning, still temperatures in between high 60s and low 70s. Absolutely delightful. We're going to break this down just a little bit when I see you in a second. But remember, Monday and Tuesday are going to be delightful. Coming up in weather, we're going to talk about our rain possibilities, not so much on Tuesday, but what we see Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, thunderstorm activities, and a cold front that's going to break us down on Saturday and Sunday. So Tanya, that's what we will do as we head toward daylight savings time Saturday night into Sunday morning.
Already. All right, thanks, Michael. Firefighters in Southeast Kansas get a unique opportunity to take part in some hands-on rescue training. KOAM's Chris Warner headed to McCune, Kansas this past Saturday to check it out.
Volunteer firefighters pumping grain out of a silo to rescue a person trapped inside. Thankfully, in this situation, it's all simulated. Special training from the University of Kansas for 5 rural Southeast Kansas fire departments.
We show them the basics on how to get started. They've already got some of their own equipment, so we're showing them the proper way to use it and all the techniques that they need to know to be able to effectively rescue somebody.
The training took place at the Osage Township Fire Department in McCune. Treasurer Sherry Schenker says thanks to a donation from the local co-op and others, Osage Township has its own grain rescue equipment.
When you're involved in an entrapment situation, minutes count, seconds count. And if you're having to go to another department that's miles away and get equipment or track someone down that might already own equipment, you could potentially be looking at a recovery rather than a rescue.
Instructor Bill Doan is a retired firefighter who spent 45 years saving lives. He says in his experience, the majority of calls are from farmers.
Most of the calls, if it's a grain rescue, it is at the local farmers. It's not at the co-op, because they're the ones that store grain on their own property, and sometimes they forget about what they're supposed to do or not to do, and so they put themselves in harm's way.
Schenker says it's only a matter of time before they'll need to use the techniques.
When you're in rural Kansas and you are in a heavy agriculture area like we are, it's not a matter of if a rescue is going to be needed. At some point, it's a when, and we need to know the techniques so we can appropriately respond.
In McCune, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
More protests are expected outside a Minneapolis courthouse where jury selection is now set to begin tomorrow in the trial of the former police officer accused of killing George Floyd. Derek Chauvin was seen on camera kneeling on Floyd's neck for more than 8 minutes during an arrest last Memorial Day. He pleaded not guilty in the case. Picking a jury could take as long as 3 weeks as both sides try to weed out any bias against them. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at Noon.
Prince Harry and Meghan tell all in a high-stakes interview. I'm Ian Lee with explosive claims about life inside Britain's royal family.
And later, we're making old-fashioned pierogies in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Prince Harry and former actress Meghan Markle lift the lid on royal life behind the scenes in an interview with Oprah on CBS. As Ian Lee reports from London, their negative claims about the crown touch on everything from mental health to race.
I had 3 conversations with my grandmother.
Television queen Oprah Winfrey spent 2 hours digging into why Prince Harry and Meghan left royal life for a new life in the U.S.
Did you blindside the queen?
No. I've never blindsided my grandmother. I have too much respect for her.
Did you leave the country because of racism?
It was a large part of it.
The couple says Meghan's mixed race was a worry for some British royals when she became pregnant.
Concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
And you're not going to tell me who had the conversation?
I think that would be very damaging to them.
Harry and Meghan blame tabloids for spreading lies and the monarchy for not refuting them.
Did you make Kate cry?
No. The reverse happened.
Meghan says the palace promised to protect her, but left her open to a painful character assassination.
I would sit up at night and I was just like, I don't understand how all of this is being churned out. And I just didn't want to be alive anymore.
So were you thinking of harming yourself? Were you having suicidal thoughts?
Yes. This was very, very clear.
Harry says more hurt came when they officially stepped away as senior royals.
My family literally cut me off financially, and I had to afford security for us. I've got what my mum left me. And without that, we would not have been able to do this. I can go for walks with
As Meghan and Harry pulled back the curtain on their new life in California, they had a surprise.
It's a girl.
Revealing Archie will have a little sister this summer, an uplifting moment in the midst of a royal family feud. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
Buckingham Palace has not commented on Harry and Meghan's claims. The interview airs for the first time in the UK tonight. Still to come on the KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
Join us today as we share an old world recipe for pierogies that I'm sure you're going to love. I know I do.
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
Truly a marvelous beginning to a March week in the 4 states. I want everybody to get out and enjoy it. But you know us weather people, sometimes it's glass half empty. We do have a red flag warning in effect for the entire 4 states all the way until 6 o'clock tonight. That means conditions are ripe for wildfires to spread. It's a combo. Number one, we've got extremely low humidity dropping down to 31% in Joplin, a whole bunch of 30s, even high 20s. And that's extremely rare for this time of year. And then we combo that with our wind gusts that are just going to increase throughout the course of our Monday. We'll see 30 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts before we're done with the afternoon, so please, no outdoor burning. Now, the flip side of that is with that southerly wind, we get absolutely wonderful temperatures. Average high for this time of year would be about 57 degrees. We're already clocking in at anywhere from 63 to 68. So we just sprinted past that. No, we're not going to challenge the record from 1992. But it is absolutely delightful. As we look at the contiguous 48, we're not the only one with wind concerns. If you move off to the west and down to the south, they've got some red flag warnings and high wind as well. But pretty much isolated and nothing a whole lot to talk about on the eastern side of the Mississippi, minus the high pressure system. So that's why they're going to have glorious weather. And while we just kind of get clipped by the backside of that high pressure, as it moves off to the east right there, that's going to allow for some evening cloud cover development. As we talk about what's out to our west, big low sitting over there near Utah, that's not the one that we're going to be concerned about. We're worried about that one right there. Not so much worried, just keeping an eyeball on it. It hasn't made landfall as of yet. But go ahead and circle it, and that'll give you an idea. That's going to play a role in our thunderstorm activity for the middle of the week. Now, before we get there, jet stream's going to drop down here for the next several days. And these warmer temperatures, while they maintain through the middle of the week, eventually the cold front is on the backside of that low pressure system is going to make for a chilly weekend. As we progress through a Monday and a Tuesday, though, wonderful temperatures already and a little bit of cloud cover that builds overnight. Nice thing about that, just wonderful nighttime temperatures into Tuesday morning, and Tuesday is actually just about a repeat of what we've had today as we'll cruise into the 70s. Now let's go ahead and fast forward into Wednesday. That's where we see some little sporadic scattered rainfall, but then the action really picks up Wednesday night into Thursday morning. We've got thunderstorm activity that rolls in from the southwest, part of that low pressure system. And then from Thursday into Friday, looks like we get just a little bit of a break, but we're going to be right back on it for Friday into Saturday. It's going to be Gulf moisture that pushes up with that low pressure system. And it does want to hang around us right here. It's going to be a wet weekend. And also too, as I mentioned, on the front side of that cold air is going to move through, as evident by all that snow. Stays out to the west of us. Nothing for us is going to flip over. But at the same point in time, we're talking about a big gap in temperatures here compared to the 70s that we see on Wednesday and Thursday when the thunderstorm activity begins, to the high 40s, low 50s there for Sunday. Don't forget, over the weekend, fast forward those clocks. We'll be talking about that all week as it's the beginning of daylight savings time. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Michael. We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero, Bill Jackson in the U.S. Navy Coast Guard. The sailor served from 1942 to 1951, fighting in both World War II and the Korean War. His hometown, Webb City, Missouri. We are proud to salute Bill Jackson, our 4-state hero. There's nothing like homemade pierogies with a flavor-packed potato filling, tender homemade dough, and sweet caramelized onions. It's no wonder why this Polish recipe has become so popular throughout the world. Howard shows us how to make them in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Hey, I'm glad you're here, because all this week in the test kitchen, we're taking a tasty trip around the globe. To start things off, today we're whipping up a recipe from Eastern Europe. It's pretty obvious what it is. Pierogies. The first thing we do is boil some potatoes for the filling. While those cook, we saute a few chopped onions. After draining and mashing the potatoes, we add some of the sauteed onions to them, along with some cheddar cheese and a bit of salt and pepper. Then we take our homemade dough, which is simply some eggs and sour cream mixed with our typical dry ingredients, and roll it out until it's about 1/8 of an inch thick. Then, with a 3-inch cookie or biscuit cutter, we cut out circles and place a spoonful of the potato mixture on each one, folding the dough over the filling and sealing the edges. They even make gadgets like this to help you do it. Once all the pierogies are made, we'll boil them, drain them, and add them to the rest of our onions. Let me tell you, there's nothing like homemade pierogies. With the flavor-packed potato filling, the tender as can be dough, and the sweet caramelized onions, it's no wonder why I married a nice Polish gal. To get the recipe for our old-fashioned pierogies, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard of the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an old world way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4 state market prices.
Please no outside burning today. That red flag warning means temps are too high, wind is too strong, humidity is too low. Still a delightful afternoon. Get out and enjoy the fresh air on Monday and Tuesday because thunderstorm activity kicks in Wednesday night into Thursday and takes us into a wet and what could be a chilly weekend.
All right, what do we have coming up tonight at 5, Down?
Well, at 5, collectors spend millions for art that wasn't made on a canvas but on a computer, and the owners only get a digital copy. We're going to find out more about these digital art collections. Plus, as the CDC changes guidelines for fully vaccinated people, we hear from a local doctor about what you should still do to keep protected from the virus. And a new state-of-the-art welding facility is under construction in northeastern Oklahoma Technology Center. Hope you join us for those stories. A lot more KOAM News at 5.
All right, thank you, Dow. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.